Hello, I'm David Fletcher, a social studies teacher at LCI High School in Lethbridge, and I'm your host for this episode of A Public Education. I'm a graduate of the University of Lethbridge. I've taught in Tabor for 3 years before moving to Lethbridge and teaching at LCI for the last 11 years. I teach mostly the social studies courses here at LCI, but I also teach some language arts as well as a photography class. My philosophy when it comes to teaching has always been try to find a way to get the kids to lead. Try to find a way for the kids to take ownership of the material they're learning and to find an interesting way for them to be engaged by it in a real world and real-time experience. So for instance, right now we have the election going on. My grade 9 class is learning about government. It's been perfect. The kids have been able to follow polls, as well as we do a mock election here at the school where students are then able to vote and see how they compare to the rest of the students in the class, and if we were the nation of Canada, what type of government we would be electing based on the classes that we have.
All rise.
Right now, my social studies class, we're learning about the criminal justice system, and so we have court cases that are going on today, and the kids are role-playing what it would be like to be a judge, what it would be like to be a witness, what it would be like to be a defendant and a lawyer. When I talk to kids in years later, that's one of the classes they remember the most because they were actually there. They were involved in it. Rather than just listening to me or someone else explain what a court case is all about, they actually get to be involved in it. One of the greatest elements of being a teacher is not just what happens inside the classroom, but all the opportunities that are outside of the classroom as well. So I have the AK group, which is the Association to Kill Apathy, which is a student activist club. We go to We Day in Calgary. There's a group that is painting flags right now, all the flags of the world, and we're going to put them up in the hallway. We have a group that is trying to raise money to build a school in Ecuador. We do so many different things with Earth Day and with women's rights and other things like this. I've got the chess club where they come and hang out in the room at lunchtime and play chess. There's the curling club we run. We've had a number of war and remembrance tours we've led through Europe. Again, that's one of those things where you really engage on a different level with students, and the students engage in a different way to the curriculum that you're trying to teach. I think the students today we don't give them enough credit. They are doing amazing things, and they are really vested in the future of our country and the world. Coming up on this episode of A Public Education, the summer session for teachers in the Masters of Education programs at the University of Lethbridge, a trip of a lifetime to New York City for dance students at G.S. Lakey Middle School, teachers at Carmen Gay Outreach School adapting their practice to meet the unique needs of their students, and grade 3-4 students at St. Paul's Elementary introduce themselves to others at Identity Day. That's all coming up when A Public Education returns after this. Welcome back to A Public Education. The Faculty of Education at the University of Lethbridge offers master's degree programs in areas such as literacy, curriculum and assessment, and educational leadership. Each summer, teachers enrolled in these programs meet for 3 weeks of on-campus instruction and peer collaboration.
Let's move on to the topic of the day, and we're going to start with anxiety.
Dr. Robert Sutherland is a professor of neuroscience and one of the instructors in the Masters of Education program in Inclusiveness and Neuroscience at the University of Lethbridge.
Very early on, children who have inhibited temperament have very dramatically elevated stress responses.
He provides educators with basic information about the brain, brain development, and brain disorders.
In addition, when you challenge them with some stressor, they show an exaggerated dynamic response a little bit after. What I'm trying to do is to convey the current state of knowledge within neuroscience about how the brain works normally and how it can fall apart in disability or disorder. The hope is that with that knowledge, that better interventions can be designed within the school system that are based on a more thorough understanding of how learning and disability actually works.
Dr. Nancy Grieg is the coordinator of this program. She says the majority of the students are teachers from across Canada looking to increase their understanding of how the brain works.
The brain is central to learning. And so while we really still are in the infancy of applying neuroscience research to education, we are still now able to talk about different ways that we can change our practices that will help children learn better, remember better, or even behave better in classrooms.
These students are in their second year of a 3-year program. While they meet in the summer, most of their studies are done independently, online, while they continue to work at their regular jobs. It's a demanding process.
Well, it's all going to be really useful, but the stuff that I think is most interesting is information on executive functioning and self-regulation and how we have expectations on adolescents and students as to how they should behave and how they should learn. But by learning more about brain development and neurotypical activities, we find out maybe our expectations might not be as congruent with science, and we may need to change our expectations.
In another area of the campus, Associate Professor David Slom delivers a master's program that integrates 2 essential areas of education: curriculum and assessment.
Historically, issues of assessment and issues of curriculum have been conceptualized separately. And this program was designed to integrate those 2 different areas of thought and work, and through that, find new ways to promote learning and to promote the work of schools.
For the teachers in this cohort, a master's degree in curriculum and assessment provides many opportunities in their teaching practice.
Mine was an entrance into this because of a set ambition for administration. Mine was an entrance into this because I really wanted to become a dynamic teacher. I wanted to become the kind of teacher that I esteem of great value. Ones who are not just knowledgeable in content, but knowledgeable in how to do what they, why they do what they do, and how to do it well. And I really feel that this program has set me up as an instructional leader. And so I hope I can take that to my team, to my colleagues, to my administrators, and any future endeavors that I undertake.
First of Michael Fullen's biggies is we got 5 items we've got to pay attention to as education leaders. What was the first one? Moral purpose. Second?
In the U of L's master's program in education and leadership, Dr. Carmen Gay teaches courses to the next generation of school leaders.
In my conversation with the students who enter this program, the majority of them really see themselves at some point in their careers becoming school principals. However, others simply want to be able to work with their professional learning communities as leader and to do so in a very effective way. But the majority, it's about being principal and the impact that they can have on the students in their schools.
I don't think I would have joined the leadership cohort if I didn't think that I had some characteristics of a leader. That's definitely not the piece, though. It's definitely something that you have to learn. But it's something you have to want to learn.
So I looked up the journal article.
For teacher Leah Hunter-Reevy, who works with disabled students, her master's program at the U of L provides a unique opportunity for professional growth and development.
Information.
I'm learning a ton. I had very little information about students with learning disabilities, students with other types of disabilities, and I've learned so much through this whole process. I also found this program to be exactly what I wanted to take. So it was brain and education together.
Students enrolled in the dance program at GS Lakey Middle School in Lethbridge began this year with a memorable field trip to the center of the dance universe, New York City.
What you gonna do with that dessert?
These grade 8 dance students from GS Lakey Middle School in Lethbridge are just back from a school tour they won't soon forget.
Oh my gosh. I got so much out of it. This was so inspirational and such a wonderful experience. And it was just amazing.
They were a part of a larger group of students that began the school year in New York City, experiencing the culture and arts scene of the Big Apple.
New York is one of the biggest places for dance. Like, you go lots of places, you see street dancers of all kinds, hip hop, breaking, sometimes you get a contemporary, but New York has so much great dancing in there.
The trip to New York for me was the most inspiring and amazing thing I've ever done. My two favorite parts of going to New York were the Broadway shows and the Broadway dance workshop.
Performing arts dance teacher Christy Legg said the trip was all about opening eyes and inspiring kids.
Seeing the breadths and depths of different performers in New York was extremely inspiring, especially at such a young age. They haven't traveled a ton at this age, and so just to get them that young, that inspired, I feel like it's life-changing.
Christy runs a popular dance program for grades 6, 7, and 8, introducing students to a wide range of dance styles.
Each year is a little bit different. We've done Bollywood, lyrical, contemporary, tap, breakdance, hip-hop, African dance. It's been a wide variety, so I try to expose them to different styles as much as possible.
This was the third year for the New York trip. 6 days packed with activities, new experiences, and lots of spontaneous dance performances.
Yeah, we would break out spontaneously. I taught them a little thank you stomp routine before we left, just as a little icebreaker. They performed everywhere. They performed in the airport, they performed at the Broadway show outside, they performed in Central Park, they performed in front of the Statue of Liberty. They got to go to some post-secondary dance institutions. They went to Juilliard. They went to 3 Broadway shows, did multiple private dance classes, as well as something new we tried this year was a drop-in dance class. So they were immersed with other New York dancers, which was really exciting.
Most students said the highlight of the trip was meeting and working with professional dancers.
We went to Alvin Ailey, the American Dance Theater, and we got to learn West African dancing. And it was interesting for me because our teacher didn't really have to talk to us. He used more of the universal language of dance to teach us.
But not all the dancers they met were from New York.
We got to meet a Rockette from Alberta. She's from Lacombe. So when we were like, oh yeah, we're from Lethbridge, they're like, oh yeah, we know where that is. So that was awesome because no other people knew where that was. They're like, oh, that's cool.
While not everyone in the dance program could go on the trip, it was still a major undertaking for the school. The hope is that those who went will share their experience and newfound knowledge with their peers.
And I honestly feel so thankful to have such a supportive admin and colleagues, you know, the core teachers working around the schedule of the students and getting them caught up when they get back. But even just the dance program in general would not exist without such a supportive, collaborative team.
Welcome back to Public Education. It's understood that not all students learn in the same way. That means that schools and teachers have to be flexible in their practices and scheduling to accommodate the unique needs of students. Such is the case in Carmen Gay School, where teachers deliver alternative education through its outreach programming. Carmen Gay Outreach is an alternate school located about 60 kilometers north of Lethbridge in the Palliser School District. This year, the grade 7 to 12 school has 50 students, all from the Low German Mennonite community, many of whom split their time between going to school and working part-time jobs to help supplement the family income.
These students, many of them are working, but they've made a decision supported by their parents to continue with their schooling and will work part-time jobs. So they might not come to us each and every day, but they do come, and when they come, they make their days matter.
One of those students is Nida Penner, a grade 12 student at Carmen Gay. Nida has a schedule where she mixes school with 3 part-time jobs, including this one as a screener at a local potato farm.
I like having money because teenagers like to spend money, but I also like being more independent and not having to borrow money from parents or from a boyfriend or from friends or anything.
Nida's jobs often interfere with her attendance at school, but she's able to keep up with her studies and is on track to graduate because of the flexibility of the outreach program and accommodations made by her teachers.
The teachers are really awesome. They, when you come to the school, they're really friendly and they really care about your schedule and how they can make it work because they want you to graduate. And they will specifically help you to get your schoolwork done while still being able to help your parents. It's really awesome.
Nida is a wonderful success story and a model for all Low German Mennonite students in our region that you can have the best of all things that are important.
Principal Fred Jack says the key to a successful outreach program is flexibility.
Again, it's not a traditional semester system where students would come and be scheduled on the timetable each and every day, math at this block, language, arts, science, social studies options. We really differentiate each and every one of our students, in particular our students grades 10 to 12. And then from there we support students in a wide variety of ways. Some who come more regularly would find themselves in classroom, commonly working with teachers more in sort of a direct setting. But again, the more common model is students come to us not consistently. So we see them maybe 60, 65% of the time. So they're working at a distance for some of the time. We support students through phone, through text, through email, through Google Hangout and other forms like that where we can continue to help the child even though they may not be directly coming into our building each and every day.
Political cartoons are often designed to be humorous, be funny, but also to make you think about it.
For teachers like Chelsea DeJong, practicing differentiation and finding ways to meet individual student needs makes her job both challenging and rewarding.
It's a consistent challenge and in a really positive way. You can inspire kids. I really like that part of it, especially working with the LGM population. A number of them won't graduate. So even being able to spark an interest in education or something that they love, I think that's my #1 priority here is to get them inquiring about the world around them and watching them grow. And I think you see a lot of different growth here that leaps and bounds that in other schools you get that consistent growth. But here you're seeing leaps and bounds in different ways and excitement about learning English and excitement about finding something they enjoy, whether it be science or math. And so it really, that I think makes my job fun. It just is fun to find something they like and want to learn more about.
The goal of Vice Principal Jen Gehringer is to teach her students the curriculum while showing them how it can be applied in their lives.
I just want them all to grow and get as far as they can. So it's kind of getting down to teaching to where they're at. But you do need to bring things into their own world and make it meaningful. They have to connect. They will have to know, why do I need this to be able to go home now and work on my farm? Or, sometimes kids are going beyond that farm. Anytime you do that, that's when they really brighten up. And, or things that they know that they're going to need to get through.
As for Nida, she expects to have enough credits by January to graduate, and she's already looking forward to her next challenge.
I would really, really love to do something with preschool, kindergarten age children. I find them so adorable. I absolutely love kids. And so I was thinking maybe being a teaching assistant for a preschool or kindergarten class.
Welcome back to Public Education. Recently, St. Paul Elementary School in Lethbridge hosted Identity Day, where students created projects that introduced themselves in an individual and creative way. In the school's gymnasium, about 100 students from grade 3-4 multi-age classrooms at St. Paul's Elementary presented to the world who they are, what they like, and how they see themselves.
I see myself as an artist. I like to draw because it's one of the ways I can be creative and colorful.
When I was born, I just decided to try soccer and that I didn't like it, so I decided a new sport and I changed it to hockey.
The students' presentations were a part of a project-based learning activity where they answered an inquiry question. Who are you?
So the basic idea was the students were able to think about their identity, what they liked, what their heritage was, so they could present that to the community.
I chose horses because horses are my favorite animal. I chose it for Identity Day because they're really important to me, and I can help my grandma not be such a chicken of them.
The project was an example of independent learning. It required research, critical thinking, self-evaluation, and the ability to present information to the public.
A lot of students were very interested in sharing their hobbies and sports, and a few got to their countries or provinces of origin where their family came from, and some even were reflecting on aspects of their personality that they felt reflected them best.
For most students, it was the first time they'd ever given serious thought to their own sense of identity.
I like to do BMX, and I did BMX because it's like my favorite thing to do.
Aiden's one of our very special boys. He's nonverbal, he's autistic, but he has a great ability for art and technology, which he loves. Minecraft is his very favorite thing. Aiden, look, what does this say?
I
am
Aiden. I
love
my.
Very good.
The school has plans for more project-based learning activities throughout the year. For students, it was a good way to begin the year, telling people who they are and how they want to be seen by others.
When I want people to know me, I want them to know me as hockey, but not just everything hockey. I want them to know me as a good friend, too.
And that's our show. I'm David Fletcher. Join us next time for more stories about public education in Southern Alberta. Funding for our public education is provided by the following Southern Alberta school districts and local ATAs. And by the Faculty of Education at the University of Lethbridge.